When's the last time you saw Will Ferrell?
Man.
Like 8 years ago.
Was he mad when you did that thing on Twitter where you pretended he was a drug addict?
Well, when I saw him 8 years ago, he goes, I go, like, I thought he was joking about it. But he goes, yeah, I thought you were, like, pissed at me for some reason. I was like, why does everybody say, I didn't say he was a drug addict. I said he's a heroin dealer. And nobody got it. I said he's dealing heroin at SNL, and people are writing, you snitch.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
great.
do you think he's really dealing heroin at SNL?
You might have been the first person I followed who was like a troll, but but you weren't trolling people. You were just trolling everybody.
Yeah, all his fans.
When Colin started Twitter, it was just like overrated bands: the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Doors, the Who. You were just pissing people off.
Do you still do that on Twitter?
But people don't really get it, so I stopped.
Right.
At the time, people would just be threatening me all the time, like, I'm going to kill you if I ever see you. Because I would just say everything I said was just furious.
There's the best.
He said Star Wars is overrated. Let's get him.
It was unbelievable.
I don't know,
but
guys.
Will Ferrell, he thought I was mad.
And was he pissed about it or no?
No, Will Ferrell's the nicest guy in the world. He was just like, yeah, I thought you were mad at me for some reason. You didn't like me.
That's a real comedian, thoh, because he thought you were mad at him. I feel like that's what comedians do. Like, I must have fucked this up somehow.
Yeah.
Even though he's trashing me.
Oh, brutal.
I think we all felt like saying he's not a comedian, Mark.
Oh, I guess
of
you're
all
right.
people, Mark.
Well, he's not a stand-up comedian.
He's not a stand-up.
He's a
That's what I'm
comedian.
saying, Mark. You of all people are saying.
I'm not saying he's a stand-up.
I think he shot the whole room. Everybody's stunned
He's
by
a comedian, a different kind
He's
of
hilarious.
comedian.
He's not a comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a comic actor.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
All the narrative.
Wait, he's not a comedian? Stand-up comedian.
Don't you think comedian means stand-up comedian?
I do.
I think so, too.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Comic.
I know.
It definitely means comedian. Comic.
So does a comedian. Both
Yeah.
means comedian.
Martin Short,
What do they say?
comedian.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, Tom.
That's what they say. That's
Why are
what
you
they
muttering
say.
the waters?
It's true.
Don't you, whenever you get interviewed and somebody goes, so do you like other comedians and they name somebody who's not a stand-up, don't you go like, well, he's not really a stand-up? And you get a little attitude. I do.
I do that too. It's harder.
But you just
Stand
did it
up.
to us.
I guess you're right. well, what's that old story? Greg Kinnear tried stand-up, failed, became an actor, won an Oscar.
Oh, yeah?
Wait,
Yeah,
what did
Michael
he win
Keaton.
an Oscar for?
As
Greg
good as
Kinnear's
it
a funny
gets.
Michael Keaton was a stand-up.
Michael Keaton?
He was-
No, but Michael Keaton was a stand. He was on Letterman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing a bit. It was funny.
But he still quit.
He had a Bazooka
Quinn went
Joe
on to-
comic.
He quit because he was playing Batman.
Yeah. Got to go do cooler
He
stuff.
gave up.
Yeah.
He gave up.
He's acting next to Jack Nicholson with like
But he
this
used to do a
pussy.
bit.
I want to do a 10:15 at the Comedy Store.
But you're supposed to need comedy. That's the whole thing. You need to do it. Like Letterman. Where's Letterman's act?
Yeah.
You fake?
Letterman was the original crowd work.
Colin, you're one of the only people that's gone the distance.
Yes, we're all begging you to quit.
Here it is, the bazooka bit.
Bazooka
He
bit.
did some-
Look at the hair.
Wow, look at the hair.
Wow.
Was he a good stand-up, Colin?
I think I remember being funny. We're about to find out.
People said he was.
You can't throw this. You just don't do this. You just don't put Bazooka Joe in your mouth and throw the thing away. No one in the world does it. You go, AWACS? Yeah, I say we send them. Just a minute here.
He's hit.
Funny.
He's hit.
That is funny.
You can't put it down. Hey, here it is. Now,
You said you can't throw it away without
You might
reading.
not laugh, but I think this is very funny. He says, Bazooka Joe has a clock in his hand, And somebody says, what are you doing, Bazooka Joe? And he says, I'm throwing a clock out the window. And he says, why? And Bazooka Joe says, I wanted to see time fly. Okay? All right, now wait a minute. Somebody says to him, time, Bazooka Joe? It's a rather ethereal subject, isn't it?
It's breaking it down.
And Bazooka Joe says, well, it depends on how one views time. I mean, if you see time traveling in a horizontal line to infinity, well then yes, I guess it is. But outside that, we'll see it broken up in segments. And Toby comes back with, I think something pretty clever. Toby comes back and says, yes, but wasn't it Eugene O'Neill who said, weary am I of the tumult, sick of the madding crowd, longing for far sea places where the soul may think aloud. And then Bazooka Joe looks at him and goes, hey, sorry, I asked, okay?
That's
Sounds like a
Yes.
Norm bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very Norm.
Yeah, but you say these guys quit. Woody Allen quit. I mean, some guys just
That's
they don't
true.
want to do it.
I
That's
know.
true.
They move on to other stuff. Is that because the respect and the adulation and the money is all far greater?
Probably.
That and writing jokes is hard. You got a bomb. You got to go up and work it out.
But Monday nights, why didn't Woody Allen put down his clarinet and go, I'm going to do a quick 15, guys?
Aha! He did the clarinet.
Yeah, the crowd every damn... Yeah.
It's a good point.
That's
Steve
true.
Martin started weaving jokes into his banjo stuff.
Hey! Good
Right.
to have you back after 40 years, you white-haired weirdo.
It's so
Where
much
you been?
easier to get a laugh in between songs, so they're just
I
glad he's
know.
not playing the fucking banjo. They're like, thank
That's
God.
true. That's true.
He's talking.
By the way, you know that's a piece
What's
he's
that?
wearing? Steve Martin?
Really?
That's the genius of his hairpiece.
What
is
about
that
him?
The piece is thinning.
Oh,
So you
my
never
God.
question it.
That's good.
Like
Wow.
Tom's.
Yeah, we've never questioned that. Yeah.
Wow.
The piece is thinning.
Wow.
What the hell?
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Damn.
Brilliant. See,
Brilliant.
he's still brilliant after all these
Did
years.
Steve Martin come through SNL when you were there, Colin?
Yeah, once or twice. He was a very nice guy. He was nice to everybody. He was like one of those guys who just, like...
Was he as
Wasn't-
wild and crazy as they say?
No, he was friends with Lawrence, so he hung out there, but he was really, he was very, what do you say, generous? Look how badass he looked in that picture.
I know.
What's that movie with Michael Caine he did? Dirty Rotten
Oh,
Scoundrel.
I love
So
that movie.
fucking funny.
So
Such a
good.
movie.
The fork with the cork on it, so
Oh
he
my
couldn't
God.
stab himself.